much you think. Overthinking is actually how much you believe what you think. Hi, I'm Sneha and welcome to my channel, Her Own Muse. Today we're gonna talking about overthinking, where we're gonna decode everything about overthinking, like why we overthink, how we overthink, and how to actually deal with it. The worst part about overthinking is we know we are overthinking, but we just don't know how to deal with it. So let's get into it. Overthinking is actually constantly thinking about the same thing again and again without reaching a conclusion. It's like your mind just keep running. For example, thinking like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Oh, what if they're judging me? Like all this stuff keep going on your head, or you just thinking about that one embarrassing moment again and again. And to be honest, I have been there too. I was constantly living in my head, overthinking all day and feeling mentally exhausted. But here is the truth that I've learned through my own journey. You know, overthinking is not just about thoughts. It's actually believing every thought you get. Yeah, that's it. Like, I read it somewhere. Thoughts are not facts. So don't believe every thought you get. Because when we believe every thought we get, we start spiraling from one thought to another, then another. Stop believing every thought you get. Every thought you get is not true. And most of the times our thoughts are negative. Like 80% of the thoughts we get are mostly negative. That's why whenever we attach to a thought or believe that this thought is true, we start spiraling, then judging ourselves, doubting ourselves, and feeling stressed, and that leads to anxiety. Sometimes it also leads to depression. Like, overthinking can lead to stress, anxiety. You might even start feeling exhausted even you did nothing all day, and it can affect all your mental health as well as physical. To be honest, overthinking is our mind's way to protect us. Yeah. Whenever we are in an uncertain situation or there is a problem, our mind thinks if we overthink about it, we will get to a conclusion or we will reach a solution. But the reality is we don't reach a solution and we keep spiraling in our head. And sometimes we are even trying to solve a problem that doesn't even exist, because that problem is maybe in the past or maybe in the future. Because while overthinking, most of the time it usually looks like we are dwelling on the past or worrying about a future outcome. And when we are overthinking, our body goes in the stress mode. So our body feels like we are in a danger, and then we go into the stress mode, which also affects our health. See, I think main cause of overthinking is attaching to thoughts, believing that every thought you get is true, and keep thinking about believing every thought you get. I think that's the main cause. That's what I have noticed. So if overthinking leads to stress, anxiety, all this stuff, what's the solution? So the first step is awareness. Get aware about your thoughts. Most important thing is you can't completely stop overthinking. You just need to learn how to deal with it, because you can't completely stop your thoughts, right? So here is the solution. Whenever you get a thought, observe that thought. You have two options. First, attach to the thought, fight with that thought and keep spiraling in your head. Or second, just observe your thought and let it go. Instead of attaching to it or fighting with that thought, just let that thought pass through. Yes, that's the first solution. Not attaching to the thoughts and observing the thoughts and letting it go. Awareness is the key. When you become aware of your mental processes, that doesn't affect you much. Then the next step is, see, as I told you, most of the time we are dwelling on a past or thinking about a future outcomes, but when the solution is to live in the present moment. Yeah, it might sound easy, but it sometimes gets difficult to live in the present moment. because we are in our head, we are living in your head 24/7, thinking about a future outcome or a past situation. For example, you thinking about the embarrassing moment you had this day. Yeah. So how can you live in the present moment? To live in the present moment, you need to practice mindfulness. I'm not telling you to go and meditate. Mindfulness is an easy technique where you just try to be a present moment. Just observe what you're feeling. If you're eating, just eat. If you're doing something, just do that instead of living in your head. The second solution is to stay in the present moment. Yeah. So how can you deal with it right now when you're getting a lot of thoughts in your head? First, you can try journaling. Yeah, a lot of people have very difficulty with journaling, but I would suggest to take a book, take a paper, and just write down whatever the thoughts that are going in your head. When you actually put the thoughts you are going in your head into a paper, you get so much clarity and you get so much awareness, like what is actually going on with your thoughts. And you can also try, for overthinking, there are some guided meditations you can try. You can try the 5 4 3 2 1 technique that actually helps with staying in the present moment. Yes, that's all guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and hope you got some solution to it. If you guys want, I would suggest some books you can read to overcome overthinking or to deal. And don't forget to be a part of my series. I've started a series which is Let's Overthink Overthinking. So don't miss out on this episode, and bye. See you in the next video.